Today, we fish one of the most amazing places that our world has to offer. We're about 100 kilometres off the coast of New Zealand, without support, on a mothership, carrying a bunch of kayaks, and I'm with 8 of the best blokes that I've had the pleasure of meeting. Every now and again in life, you get the opportunity to create memories that you will remember until the day you die. For me, the next 2 days of this adventure will be a chapter in my life that I will remember forever. I'll tell my kids about it, and when I'm old, I'll share the story with my grandkids. But every time, I'll fail at describing the beauty of the place and how lucky I was to be there. We are at a place that the world has truly left behind. Untouched, beautiful, and raw. Over the next 2 days, Mother Nature will show us her beauty, her anger, her wonder, and add a little bit of meaning to the thing that we call life. To catch our trophy fish, we will battle through weather.
Yeah, I don't have a net or any gloves. I'm going to need both of those things.
We'll push our gear to the limits.
Yeah! Keep going!
There'll be laughs, some smiles, and some pretty serious memories made.
Look at that gorgeous thing.
This is kayak fishing at its extreme.
That's a good fish. You got a sweat on, boy. Boy! That's a good fish too.
Oh, yeah!
In episode 3, we catch trophy fish after trophy fish as we discover the Mokes and what it has to offer.
Oh, it's a shark. Yeah, it's gone.
Can you believe this?
We are having so much fun this morning. I gotta calm down, man, after that. I gotta calm down. Woo. So we're up early this morning, but we're expecting a lot of spray. There's a lot of wind around. There must be not a lot of swell, but a lot of wind. So we are going to go and have a bit of fun. Morning, Marty. Say hi.
Good morning, everybody.
It was a big night. So we're going to jump in these kayaks. We've actually got a pot of dolphins up the front. Playing in the bay. See if we can get some shots of those in a minute.
So we're a little bit slow this morning, but today is our day 3 of the New Zealand adventure. We arrived last night at the Mokes, and it's been pretty slow for the crew and I because we've had quite an entertaining night celebrating the captain's birthday. I'm been hanging out for today because since the day I arrived, the guys have been talking about the Mokes and the crystal clear water and these island rock formations that are out of this world. Unfortunately, overnight though, we've been given the heads up that for day 3 today, we've got some bad weather rolling in. There's a storm system coming and the wind's coming from the west, and Captain Aaron has already placed the boat on the eastern side. Probably the best place for us to get out of wind, but the plan for the day is to try and stay out of the wind and to stay on the eastern side of the islands. Now, According to Marty, though, this is where the good fish are, so the prediction for the morning is up to 20 knots of wind, with gusts developing up to 30 knots by about midday. And in our kayaks, I think today we are going to get hammered. The plan though is to try and stay out of that wind and split into 3 main groups. Marty, the owner of Burley Pro, will be leading his worker Bo and I to his not so secret spot that I'll show you in this episode now. Cam, the first mate of the boat, will be leading Peter Pan, Marty's soon to be father-in-law, and Ian, Marty's actual dad, in a bit of a lag behind us. They're going to follow the same path, they'll just be a little bit behind. The third guy, who is the third group, and it's really a group of 1, is Steve Tapp. Now, he's got backups on backups and also has a repeater radio station on the kayak, as well as one of those electric Bixby motors. And his job is going to be to check some deeper pins for the next day's fishing. We saw some bust-ups on the way in last night, and we're keen to see if we can get some New Zealand kingfish tomorrow when the weather improves a little bit. So he's going to go out and check that stuff today. So the first job of the day is to rig for this morning. Now, I'm listening to Steve's tips on how to tie knots here, but realistically I'm the first person into the water because I could hear a pod of about 20 or 30 odd dolphins playing and jumping at the front of the boat all night. I assume they're probably doing the same thing as us, and that is sheltering from the weather. Now, I'll show you some footage of that in a little bit, but for the moment, it was time to get a brief from my guide for the day, Marty.
All through here, as it comes around these points over here, it's like 5 to 7 meters deep, and there's like massive sand patches, right? I basically just go around those sand patches and I cast like in the middle of them, and then if I'm fighting a snapper and it gets me, I want to be on top of that fish, right? Like as quickly as possible. If it gets me around a rock, just release the bail up, right? And then hopefully it'll swim out. The chance of it swimming out, like I've had a couple, right? But that weedless rig is for these points, because you just cast it in the wash and let it float around.
Yep.
And then, because they're just sitting under that white water.
Hectic morning. Right, so we're going to rig this weedless, like Marty said. Weedless for the points.
So basically, Marty's got me switching from the Daiwa jerk shads that have been working a treat for me so far on this trip, and now he's got me going to a weedless gulp grub. The idea here is that underneath these cliff faces that we're about to go fish, there is a large step, and on that step, it is covered with coral, kelp structures, bommies and boulders all over the place, and by rigging weedless, we're going to increase our chances of catching fish and not fouling up every second cast.
And that will be my rig this morning. See how this goes, eh? So we're in 20 metres of the water at the moment. We're in a bit of a channel, but we're going to go over here and work about 5 metres. We've got the boys ready on the point.
But as you can see, these guys are just getting pummeled by the wind. So the first little bit that we went straight for was the first cove in here on the right. As soon as you got around the corner, it was exactly like Marty had described. When you did get a bit of sun, you could definitely see the crystal clear nature of it. We sat in around about 5 to 7 odd meters of water, and you had these bommies and boulders that were covered in kelp pop all the way up to the surface. It didn't take us very long though. Marty off in the distance there got a fish straight away, and I rushed over to have a look.
Marty's on, let's go, let's go. Get him, Marty, get him!
But it was a mean hit.
Oh, far out, that's gorgeous. Oh, yes, Marty. Yeah, yeah boys! Yeah! What's that?
Oh, 8 pound?
So it's a nice 8-pounder to start the day, and in true Marty fashion, he made sure that everybody knew. It was on the radio to one person, and then the next, and then the next, and then after he was done telling somebody else, he got on the radio again and told them about the fish. One of the things about having a camera on your boat is that nothing gets hidden. Just check out the chuffed look on his face. It was a cracker fish to start, but there were bigger things to come. So whilst I pepper the edges with this rig that I swear catches no fish, let me tell you a little bit about the Mokohinau Islands, or the Mokes. The Mokes are made up of 4 main islands that are giant pin-like structures that come out of the water. They're located about 100 kilometers north of Auckland, and in total there's only around about 400 acres of land. Now, the islands are technically volcanic stacks that actually rise up from the continental shelf and sit on that edge of that shelf, but just like a number of the neighbouring island systems that they've got around here, they are free from pests and have been left to their natural state. Technically, New Zealand consider this area a rare tourist attraction. Not a lot of people go out here. Humans are allowed on one of the islands, but the remainder of the islands are no-go areas for any human interaction. One of the reasons that makes our presence here special, though, is that the area is about to be classified as a sanctuary or a protected area. That means that it won't be long now until fishing and this type of trip is no longer available. There's some pretty cool stuff about the Mokes in here, and I'll talk about that as we go on. But for the moment, let's get back to the fishing. I continue to pepper the edges with that weedless rig, and we eventually made our way around the corner to this open, flat area. Frustratingly, I hadn't had any solid takes from any fish that morning, and my confidence was down. I needed to change my luck. So I went back to the thing that had been working well for me for the first 2 days. I went for the bright colour in this 7-inch jerk shad, and well, here's the first 3 casts.
Yep, first cast. All right. Get bar! Try and get that to a little. Only a little guy. Woo! First cast. Yes. Okay. Woo! Yippah! Yep. Yeah. Got a bit of weight to it. Quickly put this on the head. I think I lost it. Nah, he's still there. Getting a bit of colour. Look at that! Yes! How awesome is that? Camera dramas and everything. 2 from 2. You are not disappointing. Would I be spoiled if I said let's go 3 from 3? See you go, perfect release. All right. Truthfully, I don't have the greatest idea of where we are right now. Like, we're in this area, this little bay that's protected from water, but I don't know where I've cast and where I've not cast. I'm just kind of casting aimlessly. Got a ½ ounce on with a 5.0 hook, and that's that pinky yellow colour jerk shad, 7-inch, killing it. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? Marty's heard all the commotion, so he's come over. Hey, Marty. What's going on, man? How many fish you got today? 2? 4? 2. Cops on. Alright.
Yep. Buddy! No! No!
Far out! That was mean, bro. That was just mean.
Now, of course, because Marty came over, it wasn't long until he was on too. Check out the quick reaction time here. If you've never been to New Zealand, you must come fish for these snapper. A snapper that size will bend your rod and buckle it in half. It's insane.
This is my first snapper on the Catch Black Label Livey. I am so happy.
After about 90 minutes of fun, the reports started to come in. Steve, who's offshore checking out those pins, started to get into some heavy weather. The wind started to pick up around about that 30 knots, and at the same time, the fishing in close also got better. We picked up a number of small fish, and slowly we began to upgrade to larger fish. The different species started to hit the boat, but slowly the tempo started to increase. The bites became more frequent, the elements and the weather became more extreme, and some of the guys decided to go back.
I'm gonna make my way back here.
This type of fishing in this weather is not for the faint-hearted, but there are rewards to be had. This is when the big fish bite.
Can you believe this?
He is just hooked. Oh man.
Yeah, boy!
Oh yeah, how good is that? Straight up. All the boys are in the boat.
Yeah. The rest of the crew are in the boat right now.
We are having so much fun this morning.
Yeah. See you later, mate.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
I love it, eh?
Yeah. Oh, that hit. Come on! Let's go! He's gone straight for shallow water. Alright, we're on top of him finally. What's going on here? Might have me under a bommy, I think. Oh no! I think I've been rocked. I have been rocked. See if I come out for a little while, get a bit of angle. I hooked a giant, and he's taking me under a rock, bro. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I've done a couple circles, we're on free spool. I can see the ledge, it's a pretty epic ledge.
So this fish is smart. I initially hooked at a 4 meter drop off, and it has just run back to its hidey hole in under a meter.
I know what to do. That was huge. Taking me under a little rock shelf.
Now, I'll save everybody some time, but there is 15 minutes of me winning 1 meter and then losing 3, rubbing the line all over this rock, working the angles back and forth. It is a giant emotional roller coaster ride.
Mine's 16 pound, 20 pound leader. And I feel the rubbing, man. Oh, we're out. We're out. We're out. Come out. I've got him out. He's huge. Look at that gorgeous thing. Yeah, I don't have a net or any gloves. I'm going to need both of those things. Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, yes! Woo! Yes, yes, yes! Woo! You should have seen it, man. It took me. I was chasing it, but it was still peeling off line. I was doing up my drag. Oh. Yeah! Look at that. It's a Australian snapper, man. Awesome. So good.
I thought you said you were onto a shark on the radio.
May as well be a shark, bro. Yes! I just got the biggest snapper. Yes. That drag was locked then. I gotta calm down, man, after that. I gotta calm down. Woo.
Now, pumped and full of adrenaline, we actually saw another major system coming and we decided to get out of there. And luckily we did that too, because the weather turned poor. Those gusts of 35 knots became a constant 35 knots. So Marty and I headed back to the Bounty Hunter to get changed into some more clothes and prepare for the afternoon session.
Right, so the weather's turned horrible. We can all see that. So there's no afternoon session, but it's rainy, it's wet. We're gonna stay inside here, grab some food. I just made some wedges and some fish wraps, and we're gonna get some lines re-rigged from the stuff. Live baiting tomorrow. Got a jig right here, ready to go. Grab those batteries that we've left in there and get them on charge. But I guess for today, that's a bit of a wrap. Didn't turn out the way we planned with an afternoon session. It's just too wild. Next 2 days is meant to be variable 5 knots, clear as. But we've got Goombad drinking. Yeah. It's all class here. That's terrible. I remember doing that in high school, bro. I'll see you next week.